Now, what would it take for an object to be weightless, to have no force of gravity acting on it? Learner.
It basically in its own separate universe, like there couldn't be any mass.
It would need to be infinitely far away from all other masses, right? Is that possible? No. So realize nothing is ever experiencing weightlessness. The term should be apparent weightlessness. When you refer to something that looks like it's weightless, it's actually an apparent weightlessness. Now, there have been all sorts of examples of showing this type of thing for, just like for astronauts and things like that, while they're in space. They aren't actually weightless, right? Because they have some sort of altitude above the surface of the planet. But they appear to be weightless. So let's take a look at a famous one here, which is Apollo 13. So these guys appear to be weightless. You can see all of the stuff around them appears to be weightless.
I was just a lad of 10. My father said to me.
The skin of the limb in some places is only as thick as a couple of layers of tin foil, and that's all that protects us from the vacuum of space. Okay, we'll head back up the tunnel now and back into the Odyssey.
So it's important to understand that they're not actually weightless when they're in the space station. Right? They simply appear to be weightless. Again, the reason being that everything's accelerating at the same rate, so they appear to be weightless. Now, in this video, they actually did not go out into space they didn't create a set in space to shoot this. But so does anybody know how they shot this video? They used a plane and they flew it like this. They created a set on a plane and they flew it like this. This plane, if you fly it and you fly it from approximately here to here, if you match the tangential velocity and some sort of particular radius, you can get so that your centripetal acceleration, which equals the tangential velocity squared divided by the radius, is equal to g. If you make it so that you're flying at a specific speed, at a specific radius, those are going to match, and you're going to get something that is very close to, or actually is apparent weightlessness, just like it is in space. Now, this ride is often called, and this plane is often called the vomit comet. And I have a quick little video about the vomit comet.
At a cruising altitude of about 24,000 feet, the pilots steer the C-9 airliner on a flight pattern of steep 8,000-foot climbs and descents, creating a series of huge parabolic arcs. As they come over the top, gravity is absent.
Did you hear that? What did he say? Gravity is absent. Is that true, class? This is a National Geographic Science special, and they just said gravity is absent, which is not true.
It's pure airtime. It's all serious science, but the first thing they discovered is that weightlessness is a blast.
Weightlessness! Again, so you hear how pervasive it is. It's very hard to get it through. It's so much easier to say weightlessness and to say gravity is absent rather than to go through and discuss what it actually means. We could, if you use the term apparent weightlessness, that's okay. Gravity appears to be zero, that's okay. The next guy's a little bit better.
Airtime coaster fanatics could have told them that. A veteran of several space shuttle missions, astronaut Don Thomas still gets a kick out of the weightless sensation.
As we come up on the top of our parabola, we enter a period of weightlessness when things just float. And if you ever felt like you're coming out of your seat on the roller coaster, that's exactly what's happening here for us. I'm just in a state of free fall. Literally, I'm falling in the sky right now, inside this airplane, giving the perception of a zero gravity environment.
The perception of a zero gravity environment is exactly correct, right? It's not a zero-G environment, but because everything's falling at the same rate, it appears to be a zero-G environment. Now, this is expensive to do. So notice, I culled out a small portion of Apollo 13. Watch what happens here.
Okay, we'll head back up the tunnel now and back into the Odyssey. Okay, we'll head back up the tunnel now and back into the Odyssey.
You gotta watch carefully, but you can tell that this is fake.
Okay, we'll head back
not
up
actually experiencing zero G's at this particular point. Oh, watch the camera.
Yeah.
He switches the camera from one hand to the next, and what happens to the camera? It falls down. It should not fall down. When he switches it from one hand to the other, it should simply float, but it doesn't. It goes, it falls down. So clearly, they either missed this particular scene when they were filming and didn't have time to go back up, or they ran out of money, whatever, with this particular scene, and they spliced it in so that you couldn't tell, or at least, unless you were actually watching like me, you wouldn't be able to tell that that was an actual fake moment there.